before we do the other show, I want to ask your opinion about something.
Yeah?
Did you see the Arrington, Laporte, Gillmor Gang dust-up?
The kerfuffle?
The kerfuffle?
Yeah, I heard a lot of, I mean, it was all over the Twitterverse over the weekend.
Miss, right? I don't want to get into who's right or who's wrong or who's sensitive or not or this or that. I want to talk about or ask you about the broader issue about sponsored conversations, disclosure, what that means. What did you take away from that scenario, with those subjects?
Well, look, I've never met either of those guys before. Mike Arrington, he seems to be, my kind of guy. He's got a point of view. He's not afraid to communicate it. He's a little bit irreverent. I think you got to take him with a pinch of salt, but I think also respect where he comes from. Leo Laporte, Leo Laporte he's like a god. He did the one laptop per child thing. So, he's a pretty accomplished guy in the internet space.
That's not him.
Here's the thing. People don't quite know yet how to react to this whole thing. It's still early days. We've been skewed and badly skewed by the paper posts, and now there's this like paper tweet rubbish that's going on right now. So what we don't want to be is misled or be misleading, and we don't want to mislead as well. That's the first point. The second point is this whole thing about, are we journalists or not? Well, I don't know, about the personality. I don't know about Arrington, I don't know about Laporte. I'm not a journalist. I'm a journalist. If I am, I'm a journalist backside. I've never gone to journalism school, and I don't profess to be a journalist. I don't profess to be objective. I don't profess to be independent. But what I do profess to be is honest and direct, and I never ever want to mislead people. Now, this Space Invaders t-shirt, if it was sent to me by, who created it?
Midway.
Really?
Yeah, that's the name of the company.
Yeah, Midway or Atari or whatever. I really don't think that you need to know that. I really don't think that you need to know that this watch came from and this band came from and this. It becomes crazy in a way. We cannot skew from one extreme to the other. Now look, let me just take a step back for a second. The fact that Laporte had a pre and was showing it on screen demonstrates a kind of an endorsement. It may not be an explicit endorsement, but it is a tacit or an implicit endorsement. The fact that I'm actually cool enough to get this thing.
Why? Because he's cool enough to get it in advance.
I didn't get one. They didn't send it to me. Well, they probably didn't send it to me because I don't care about the pre.
I guess I get what you're saying, but I'm not sure if I necessarily agree. You think just by him having it and having a personality, quote unquote, is already a bit of an endorsement?
Absolutely. The fact that Laporte shows it, in front of a massive audience demonstrates something. And even if it's not an endorsement of Palm and the Pre, he's saying, I'm cool enough to be able to get one of these things and you're not. Even whether he wants to say that or whether he means to say that or not. Now, is he saying to you, you should buy it? No, he isn't. Is he, if he were getting paid, then he would have to say it. So maybe that's the point, Lauren, which is if you're getting paid by somebody else to display, to hawk, to shill, to promote their product, you absolutely need to tell people that you have skin in the game. If somebody sends you something and you are basically wink wink saying to them, okay, I showed it on air, you got your 5 seconds, keep sending me stuff like that, I don't know that you need to be as anal about it.
And hasn't that been going on for years? How are they supposed to get their products into influencers' hands to talk about it? I have to send you shit, right?
I think the point is every single time you have to say these words, with disclosure, you're basically, it's a kind of a mea culpa. It's kind of somebody saying, the fact that I actually have to tell you that after all these years, after all this time, after how many conversations we've had, shows you that it isn't quite black and white. And I think if we can get to a point where it is black or white, we may not need those disclosures. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you feel the need to say with disclosure, and I'm saying the fact that you even need to say that demonstrates the fact that you need to say that. But if you're at that point where you need to be able to communicate that, that's okay. But do it for the right reasons. and do it because you actually want to maintain some kind of a boundary in a sense. But don't make it a kind of a cop-out or a plea deal, or do it out of weakness. Do it out of strength.